absolutely. How are you?
Doing pretty okay. It's Friday, so life is pretty nice. I've been kind of like fucking hitting my head against a wall designing merchandise for us, and just Ryan's been in the studio writing, and we try to keep as creative as possible around here at all times, but sometimes it can be like a lot. Sometimes I just want to lay in bed with the dog, which is what I did yesterday, but I want multiple days of that.
Yeah, well, at least you get an A day here and there for it, right? When you say you're hitting a wall with the merch design, what is it? Is it just you're not coming up with stuff you like, or is it just because
No, I
it
just
takes
keep
its time?
churning out things. I keep churning out things and I have like ideas in my head, but I'm not like a trained graphic designer, albeit I've done like all
Yeah.
the layout and design stuff. Oh, yeah. I've done all the layout and design for our band since we started, but I just feel like maybe sometimes that like I wish I can see ideas in my head, and my old school way is to like draw it out, but I'm just sort of at this point where I keep forcing myself to try to learn how to do it on the computer so I don't have to draw it out myself, because that can be daunting and time consuming. I'm also like kind of catching up with the future, which feels funny, where I'm thinking about getting like an iPad with Procreate on it so I can just draw things out and then have them already scannable. But I'm a very stubborn human being. I don't like change very easily. And so I'm sitting here on the laptop using like the trackpad finger mouse, trying to draw things pixel by pixel, and then getting fucking frustrated with myself that
Always
that
the hard way.
it's always a hard way. Yeah.
What's the solution then? I mean, what is it? Is it just eventually forced to change?
Yeah. I mean, my mom had to do it with getting a fucking internet. I'm gonna have to do it with getting an iPad, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
Yeah.
generational curse, the fucking influx of technology, really.
iPads have been out for years.
We had an iPad, but it was so bad. Remember, we had the iPad that my dad gave us that was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
old when my dad gave it to
It
us.
was nice of
It
him.
was really sweet, but my dad gave us this iPad and was like, I think you guys can use this for like the music you do or whatever. And like it was, I think I tried to install Core Gadget on it just to have
Okay.
something to beep bop around on, and
Yeah.
it was so old already that it wasn't integrating with anything. I was like, all right, that's cool.
Nice, nice. Ryan, how about you? Is it are you is your week been a little bit more chill?
Yeah, I'm designing a new live setup. So I have a lot of programming, a lot of figuring out routing for MIDI stuff, just a lot of headache work.
Your week has not been more chill. I mean, that sounds even more complicated than my week right
But it's
there.
been chill. I've watched some TV while I'm doing it, and it's all right.
It's work, but it's an enjoyable work nonetheless, right? Stress and annoyance, and that come with it, of course, and frustrations. But it is for a purpose, and the purpose, of course, your creative outlet and what you are putting out. Well, soon, basically, because of course we're talking about your new EP, yours with Malice, 16th of May, via Sumerian Records. It's been four years since you last released new music. So I'm going to ask you to try, if you can, please, sum up the past 4 years as they've roughly entailed to you as musicians.
Oh boy.
Mm.
There's ways in which I don't necessarily like to tell this story because I think that not for any reason other than the fact that it's been like kind of hammered in with everybody on all ends, right? Like the fucking pandemic happened, right?
Oh yeah.
And so that I feel like is something that is kind of everybody has their story, everybody has their thing, and I feel like it's kind of just everybody went through it, right? Like
Mm.
it's not specific to any one person, but like I feel like we needed to sort of like regroup and resettle and like refigure out what we were doing. I
Yeah,
feel like
lost a little bit of footing, I think, and
yeah, like
it
I
was
think we were a band that toured so consistently, so regularly. I feel like we were out for like 6 months out of the year,
Mm.
and it was like we finally had to like slow down. And I think in that there was kind of this like you know, just a reframing on like, what are we doing? What's going on? Like, what we just, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's much of a thing there more so than like, we have always written songs. We've always
Yep.
been creative, but just more so like what we were going to do with it and what the plan was. And like, we had put out Skeleton Key on our own and it was cool, but like, I didn't necessarily want to be in charge of like hand shipping out every record. Like when we put that out, 1,000 records on a pallet showed up in our 1-bedroom apartment at the time. And not only that, but like 1,000 records worth of shipping materials, 1,000 records worth of labels that, you know, like it's just so much work. And granted, DIY is like a very important thing, but they're like, I didn't know whether I wanted to personally go through that again. So I think that we just kind of, we kept on, we were doing things and we were active in the 4 years. Like we played shows with Nine Inch Nails, we played shows with Health, we played shows with My Chemical Romance. We headlined a festival out here called Substance. Like we did quite a few things. We were playing in Sweden with Kite at like venues that are, you know, 5,000 capacity,
Yeah.
quarries in the middle of nowhere. Like we did a lot of work in the interim, but I think that we just didn't have an idea for how we wanted to move forward with like the public facing release of music. And it was almost as if like I was asking the universal question and it answered, right? Because Sumerian kind of came out of nowhere, like very like randomly. I was in Japan. I went to a noise and black metal festival in Japan. And as I'm there, I get an email from our booking agent that said, "Are you interested in working with Sumerian?"
Yep.
And I said, "Sure, let's talk. Like, why not?" Right? Like,
Interesting.
it's an interesting thing. It's
Yeah.
definitely not the move that I think anybody thought or predicted that we would go towards, but I like how forward thinking the label has been about wanting to kind of change and like, and just be there for musicians and put out interesting stuff, you know? So we talked to them and it seemed like a really good fit for us. And so then we got to work.
So it really was Sumerian that kind of gave you the direction you felt you needed to move forward, as it were. But finding your creative voice from a music perspective, how was that going at that same time? Did you find you were in a very creative place nonetheless, regardless of the not necessarily knowing the direction you were heading in?
Yeah, we're always creative.
Yeah,
Like we're
creative for sure.
Yeah.
We just needed to put endpoints on the creativity,
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you know, you can
finishing touches.
yeah, like you can
know?
you can continue writing a book, like if you're an author, right? You can continue writing a book to your heart's content, but if you don't necessarily have like a publisher that sets a deadline for you, like what the fuck are you doing? You keep writing, you keep creating, like you keep doing things. And so
Editing, rewriting.
yeah, editing, rewriting, all these things. And so I think that like really what Sumerian kind of put into place for us is like, here are like your stop and end points. Like this is a schedule that we want to adhere to. And that works super well for us. Like when we have deadlines, when we have things that people want to like, here are time constraints for you to put things out in, it's great for us. We go, okay, we don't have a choice in how long, because especially with what we do, with synthesizers, the possibilities are endless. You can tinker,
Yeah.
you can, you know, move something up like 3 dB. You can add like a hi-hat that just kind of like trickles through the middle of it. You can change the tonality on a bass line. You can like, you know,
Add effects.
yeah, you can
routing
like
forever.
open and close filters, open, like it is just a constant maze of what you're capable of doing. So having somebody that kind of goes, yeah, get it fucking done. We were like, okay. It kind of takes away from like the whole like, oh, I don't want to spend, you know, we don't want to do like a Chinese Democracy or whatever that Guns N' Roses record is that took like 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
Like we're completely capable of doing that. But
yeah, we had to go and listen to old tracks and kind of cut the fat off too, because we've always wanted this band to be kind of raw and stripped down electronic music and a little more aggressive. So having all these demos that were like these big things, and we're like, no, we need to get this shit cut down, get it back into like a fucking ass beater song and
Yeah.
put it out. So That was a
We
lot.
had some songs that were like 6.5 minutes or
Yes.
something that we had to be like, all right,
Yeah.
we're not doing a fucking rock opera
So
over
that,
here.
that would be the reason we didn't just go like the band camp route and do it ourselves, because we would be like a prog band or something at that point.
But what made you, was it always going to be, okay, the first release with Sumerian is going to be an EP? Was there any talk about potentially being an album? You have obviously a wealth of content you could draw from, even trimming it down. But you end up settling on 5 tracks EP.
Here's like the way that I wanted to do this, at least, because this was a lot of like my idea for on this stuff, is the reality is, you know, due to there was an oversaturation during the pandemic, so I don't think that everybody's records got listened to. So there's some people that know that the last time we put out music was 4 years ago, but there are other people that haven't known that we've done music since 9 years ago. You know what I mean? Because the constant overstream of like everybody's got a new record, everyone's putting out merch, everyone's doing a live stream. I don't think a lot of people even realize that we did a whole record with King Yosef. So it was, you know, I think for us, getting back into a situation where like we are going to be pushing ourselves into the public eye, I think it would have been a disservice to come out and be like, what's up? You haven't heard from us in 9 years. Here's this fucking full record. The world has changed since the last time we put out a record, you know, like in so many different ways. When we put out Commitment, it was such a different time period than where we're at right now. I mean, it's almost a fucking decade. So the reality of it is, what I wanted to do to make sure to test the waters to see like, hey, if we come out with like this overabundance and overstimulation, here are fucking 10 to 15 tracks right in your face, I don't think it would have done well for us, as opposed to being like, hey, what's up? Like, we're back. We don't want to give you everything right now, but we're still active. We're still doing things. We have plans to keep it moving. Like, it's sort of like it's a tasting menu, really.
Yeah, we
like,
just tiptoeing back in.
yeah, and also I think that like our songwriting and the structure of what we've done has changed so significantly since the self-titled record in 2013. That's when it came out, I think. 2013 is when the self-titled record came out. And we are a completely different band in tonality, in the way that I use my voice, in the way that we're writing, in like the structure and the influence. Like, why just fucking boomerang someone with like this huge new sound all in one thing? I want people to be able to go, oh, this is like we've always done. We did a record and then we did an EP, which was a change in tide to what Commitment was. And then from Commitment, we did a collab record afterwards. We'd done little singles here and there. This is just like another courtesy step instead of just battering ram people, you know?
It makes complete sense to me, particularly as I think it's quite notable that on this new record, this new EP, it's showing off your artistic growth and the evolution of the band as well. You can hear it in every single track. It is simply spectacular for that and very exciting. And that's really, really cool for the future as well. But settling on the tracks, the specific 5 tracks, how much work went into choosing those? And was there much in the way of disputes in regards to like who wanted what track to go on then? It was easy to choose the 5 basically.
I don't think like when you're doing a band with the love of your life that anything is going to be 100% easy, you know, especially because both of us kind of have to, it's a consistent exercise in patience and love and understanding. There's songs that like I was gunning for, that I was like, this has to make the EP, this has to do it, and they didn't make it, you know? And there's songs that Ryan was like, this has to be this way, this has to be on the EP, and they didn't make it. So I think that ultimately this EP, much like everything that we've ever done, has been like a meeting in the middle to the best of our ability to kind of figure out what we want and what the strongest and best looks for both of us are moving forward.
Yeah, that struggle sort of also dictates our sound.
For sure, because we're two musically completely different headspaces. Like Ryan and I, there are things that we meet in the middle on that we both can go, this is fucking cool. But for the most part, we're so opposite in terms of like what we like, you know, like I'm listening to like Charlie XCX most of the days, and Ryan's listening to like Youth of Today, you know, like, and I think that it's a beautiful thing that we can meet in the middle to be what we are, you know? But yeah, as far as what we like, how it was to choose these things, it was okay. We didn't like argue too much. I think that we
No, it
knew
was
that
good.
we were gonna choose the ones that we chose. There were like 6 that I went up and tracked, and we ended up going with the 5 that seemed
Yeah,
the
yeah.
strongest.
Out of
When you reflect on this little period of time, these particular tracks as well, and the writing process more than anything else, what was particularly exciting about this evolution of the band, this new style that you were going in, this new direction?
I mean, for me, I always like that we shift yet stay in a certain course, if that makes sense. Like we're,
Hmm.
we're not using guitars or drums or bass. We're using synthesizers, for the whole thing. But I think that as we grow as people, our influences and the things that we like and enjoy in terms of the formation of the songs, that has an evolution on things where I like, to me, I was really excited, on the record that we did with King Yosef.
Hmm.
I started to try to, and even prior to that, like when we did Puzzle, I started trying to like find melody and singing in my voice and things of that nature. And I think that Ryan was like breaking out into like uh different realms of writing and different influence on like, the pieces that you take from things, like, or the influence that we take from things. I think that you have always just stuck true to what you listen to, but you listen to different things during every record.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's really it. Kind of like I don't know, like I was super excited about these songs because I think when it comes down to it, like who wants to hear the same record years and years and years and years and years in a row? But also,
Well, a lot of people do though. That's the thing.
yeah, but I feel like
People get so upset when people like break away from their normal sound.
sure, but I think the goal,
But as an artist, that's just so like boring and
Hmm.
fucking like what a waste, right?
yeah, but I think that people also do like change so long as you do it in like a way
Tasteful
that's
way.
tasteful, right? Like everybody's example is probably Bowie, right? Or like Nine Inch Nails, where like, you listen to the difference between Pretty Hate Machine and Broken, and that is 2 completely different bands.
Or Year Zero is like a
Mm.
garage rock band.
Yeah, like years ago.
Since-
Yeah, and like same thing with Bowie. It's like, listening to the difference between Earthling and Ziggy Stardust, they're not even the same fucking human,
Yeah, but you can always tell that it's one of their records. Or
Exactly.
like early Sisters of Mercy, like, and then when they're
Vision thing.
yeah, like, and then they're just like fucking like this big atmospheric heavy drum goth rock mid-tempo band, right? Like,
Yeah.
but you always know it's Sisters. Like, there's no doubt about it. And I think that's the goal, like to have a signature sound, but to explore everything.
That someone comes along, and even though it may not be what they previously listened to what you did, they will recognize youth code in it regardless. It will have that vein running through it, and that's ideal.
Absolutely.
That's ideally.
Absolutely. Like, I'm not going to completely abandon screaming or being an aggressive person. That would be like a fucking disservice to what we do. But I do think that there is room to grow within that. And I think also the same thing, like, we're never going to not be. I don't think that musically we fit into any one thing, right? Like I listen to a lot of the things that people compare us to, and it's like, yeah, okay, sure, we all use electronics, but the way that we're writing is from a completely different headspace than I think a lot of these other people are writing, So I think there is a throughway within all of this that is signature youth code. It's always going to be very, very heavy electronics, but there's room to kind of branch out from it a little bit and like explore. So like we were listening to that song, The Dust of Fallen Rome off of Commitment the other day, and I was just listening to the structure of the song. Had we recorded that Now, where I'm more comfortable with like trying to branch out and do more melodic things, it would have been a completely different song. But like there's so much beauty that comes from all these pieces and like all these different textures. Yet there's the throughway of like just it being absolutely gut-wrenching in terms of like lyrical content and sound of vocal through the whole thing that I think that's how we're like a river in ways. Like we split off, we come back, we kind of meld together, and we're always a through line going through the process of what the band is.
I feel like the majority of listeners, fans, kind of get that as well. I think the majority wouldn't want you to basically pigeonhole yourself or be pigeonholed because
Right.
of it's who you are. It defines a major defining factor of you is who knows what we'll get next time. It'll be youth code, but it will be something different as well.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably thinking about doing a ska record next.
Ska, Spice Girls covers.
Yeah, Spice Girls covers ska. That would be sick.
Well, no consequence and in search of tomorrow out there already and being received really, really well. It's really heartening to see. Just look at the comments, general chatter on social media, and you see people are really, really enjoying it. But that leaves 3 other tracks. Of those 3 other tracks, which one of those are you most interested to see in the response to and why?
The one that I want to see the response to is Make Sense,
Hmm.
because it's such a different type of song than we've ever put out. And it's been polarizing from the jump, like I think that we sent the EP to someone that works with us, and he was like, it sounds like 4 youth code songs and one song that's weird, but it is a youth code song. And then there's other people that are like, oh my God, Makes Sense is like this really weird, dark sort of version of what you guys are doing that has like so much weird melody and soul to it, but also is like very kind of like anxious and yeah, Makes Sense is like this polarizing song. I'm really curious to see what people think of it.
Do you
You?
agree, Ryan? Have you got another one?
No, there's a song called Wishing Well that
Yeah.
I think that should have been the lead off single. I think that's the best song on there. But that's just me, It's got a hook in it. It's the programming is cool, the vocals are cool. It's fast paced. I don't know. It's a really good track. I like it. And there's also like if you strip away a lot of like the heaviness of it and just go to the drums, it's got like a freestyle beat to it, like a old like New York style like hip hop bouncy beat that I like a lot. So yeah, I love that kind of
I
stuff.
know, like as you're saying that, I can hear that
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah, I can hear that
Yeah.
100%. But
That's how it started, was with like a freestyle beat in Ableton, and I was like, oh, this is sick. Wait, I can't do this with youth code. I gotta fuck it up more. So yeah.
I love both tracks, but I am leaning towards Wishing Well as well, just slightly, because that is an absolute banger for me personally. But it is an incredible EP from beginning to end. That's the thing. It's so digestible. 5 tracks in and out, and it's just so exciting to see where you are now and what that means for the future. But it also speaks a lot about who you are now. From a listener perspective, I can get a lot from it. But from your perspective, what do you think the EP says about Youth Code?
Or bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like for me, I think what it says is like we've never gone away. We've kind of just been sitting here in the corner watching everyone try. And we've been keeping quiet. We've been keeping mum about it. I don't think that like I think the title kind of says it all, really. Like I think that we've been kind of waiting in the wings, letting everything happen the way that it has, and it came back with a fucking dagger. And we've always been that band, and we'll always continue to be that band. I think that that's really that's been us from the jump.
Yeah. Do you have any idea, or I hope maybe that what listeners will take away from the EP, though, in particular what you're creating now musically? Any kind of thoughts about that?
What do I hope that people take away from this record?
Yeah.
I mean, that's such kind of like a loaded thing, right? Because I feel like when I listen to a record, it's such a personal experience to what I take away. I think it's too personal for me to hope that anyone takes away something other than I think I want them to listen to it and I want them to feel, you know what I mean? I think that every artist kind of wants that. I don't care what it is that you are feeling, as long as you feel from it, then like that is a job done, you know? Like when I listen to a record, we were listening to Wire yesterday, and I was just listening to, is it Kidney Bingo, the end of Kidney Bingo, that we're listening to the end of Kidney Bingo, and I'm just listening to this melody that comes only at the end of the record, and it just sat with me for hours and hours on end. It sat with me. And, you know, I don't think that everybody's going to listen to Wire and go, wow, that one melody on that one part is what I've taken away from the record. But I do think that like, I think I just want people to feel something from it. That's all, really. Like, I can't ask anybody to feel a certain way. Like, hopefully they enjoy it. But yeah, I just hope that the listener, enjoy what we do and it makes you feel. Yeah. That's all you can ask for, really.
I mean, just from the singles alone, like we've gotten pretty good feedback from people, and I mean, it's great. It's cool seeing new people get into it, but I really enjoyed seeing people that have been fans for a band for quite a while still like what we're doing, you know? Because I can't even count the amount of times like I've been into a band and time has passed and they put something out and I've just been like, it's all right. Like whatever, you know, like I'll go listen to old records, but people are like excited. They love it. When we played these shows on this like small run in Europe, people already knew the words to the new songs. Like,
Which was
I've
crazy.
never been like that. Like, if a band's been like taking a couple years between a release that I really liked and a newer one, like I'll check it out. But these people actually knew the words and were up front singing along.
Which is weird because they
so-
knew the words to the new songs and they did, or they knew the words to No Consequence, but they didn't know any of the words to the old stuff. So I think that like, not that they didn't know any of the words, but I do think that they, like there's a lot of engagement, there's a lot of change and like ability for people to like listen to what we're doing, you know?
Those people, the people who have been there from the start, so to speak, and are still there and loving what you're doing right now, that speaks obviously to your longevity and your ability to not just evolve as artists, but bring people along with you for that ride. Is it easy for you to sum up what it is that makes those people stay with you, that is so appealing to them?
No idea.
I think we create a sense of community, really.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, and it's been really important to our band from the jump, like even as the band has like excelled, I feel like, you know, on these shows in particular, I was out there selling merchandise, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't, you know, I think that I want to be someone that is thankful for all these people. And when people come up and talk to me, you know, they have such emotion attached to this stuff that we've done. And I feel like it's super, I don't know, like it can be overwhelming from time to time, of course, because everybody attaches their own story to like words that you wrote like at a time in your life. But I remember how much what it felt like to me, the difference between meeting someone that was a musician that I admired that wasn't nice to me and meeting a musician that I admired that was like polite and took the time out to just like sit there and be like, hell yeah, thank you so much. Like, I really appreciate it. And going into this band, not that I had some like grandiose dreams of being like massively famous or anything, but it always rung true to me that I wanted to be the best version of myself in terms of when I met people that were appreciative of what we do. And I think that that sense of community and that sense of kind of just always trying to be the best for the people that care about us, I think that that's really, you know, I'm lucky that we have the people that like us as much as they do. I'm lucky. I feel so appreciative, you know, like that there's anybody that how many people in their life can say, yeah, I made something from the inside of my brain, I put it out there, and all of a sudden I'm traveling the world being able to just express this thing that came from inside of me, you know? I think it's a very small percentage of the world. So the people that make that happen for us, our ability to like go out and play these songs, I want them to know they're appreciated. Like I want to be thankful for them. And I think that that keeps people around, you know?
Connection. It is so, so important. And I've been around for a while. Seeing many bands come and go and listening to you guys for quite a few years as well. And I completely understand where you come from there. And I want this EP to be super, super successful for you, whatever that might mean, because success is measured in awfully funny ways these days. Do you have a measure of success for what you think the EP, what the EP could look like?
I mean, I think that our prayers are the same as anybody else's prayers in life. You don't want to have a day job anymore. You want to be able to just live your life creatively and make yourself, you know, be able to buy your groceries and do the things you like with what you've done creatively. Like, I don't know, like, I think a measure of success is that we still get to be able to do this. I would like to maybe be able to just focus on doing this, but at the end of the day, like the fact that we just get to do it at all and that there's enough of an audience to where we can keep continuing doing it, like that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're out of time, so I just want to quickly wrap it up by asking, without obviously going into too much detail, because no doubt you probably can't or shouldn't anyway. Long-term plans, future. This is the start, isn't it? This is Youth Code back, so to speak, or stepping back out of the shadows and reminding everybody they're here, and then it's just all go from here, right?
Yeah, tour,
there-
release. Like
is
this
the
is the
very
beginning.
beginning.
Yeah, this is the very beginning.
Many things await.
Can't wait. So pleased to hear that. But first, just remind everybody, yours with Malice, 16th of May via Sumerian Records. So Ryan, thank you both so much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.